The Suits resurgence is alive and well, with billions of streaming minutes, a watch podcast, and now a brand new spin-off show. Slated to air on February 23rd of 2025, Suits LA follows characters old and new as they navigate the legal scene in Los Angeles. Created by Aaron Korsh with a slew of Suits alumni including Rick Muirragui, Anton Cropper, costume designer Jolie Andreatta, and casting director Bonnie Zane, the show is circulating buzz. Nevertheless, skeptical viewers are raising criticisms about the show being a copycat of the original Suits. In the age of TV revivals and spin-offs, Suits LA is not a copycat show, but an opportunity to extend Aaron Korsh's legal universe. Over the past decades, spin-offs and revivals have become a TV favorite, with over a dozen currently airing on major television networks. Given the current climate of TV networks and streaming services, discussions of a spin-off for Suits comes without question due to its rise in popularity. Competing with streaming, primetime networks can find an advantage in creating programming that already has an audience. With some of these shows more well-received than others, revisiting a previously successful show can be risky, especially because of the pressure to please a fanbase. With the Suits fanbase especially active, Suits LA is already under scrutiny. But are the criticisms really valid? The biggest argument of Suits LA being a copycat show comes from the characters. The show's lead, Ted Black, played by Stephen Amell, is the top lawyer in the country, and it isn't difficult to draw similarities between him and Harvey Specter. In fact, the show connects the two characters, explicitly stating that they met in the district attorney's office in New York. Both Ted and Harvey are powerhouses. Ted is the top lawyer in Los Angeles' biggest firm, and Harvey is the best closer in New York. It's also easy to guess that Stuart Lane, played by Josh McDermott, would be pretty good friends with Louis Litt.
I think on a regular day off, Stuart probably sitting around the house in something very comfortable. Cashmere, even in July, he doesn't care, because cashmere looks good on everybody.
But do not be mistaken. These characters are not copies or rip-offs of the beloved characters of Suits. They're their own unique characters with traits that distinguish them from their counterparts, and in terms of TV writing and general world building, they just make sense. The Suitsverse calls on imagery of money, power, wealth, and competition. It relies on high stakes and heightened successes and turmoils. You wouldn't expect to meet the Vinnie Gambini type in a law firm created by Aaron Korsh. Even Louis, who has his moments, is deeply devoted to his work in a way that permits him to oversee the associates. Looking at the original Suits in particular, the show's main characters all have a series of traits in common. They are ambitious risk-takers who cut corners or find advantages to get what they want, whether it's a win for a client, the firm, or their career. At the same time, the Suitsverse has a distinctive balance between risks, intelligence, and, importantly, humor, emphasizing a need for a character like Stuart.
Stuart Lane, he's very powerful, he's very funny. Maybe he's not, but I think he's funny.
The third key ingredient in creating a successful cast of characters is a variety of dynamics. Friendships, romance, fights, competition. The rivalry between Erica Rollins and Rick Dodson brings back memories of Mike and Katrina. Only one of the rivalries on the original Suits. Let's see, there were conflicts between Harvey and Louis, Hardman, Harvey and Jessica, Jack Soloff and Jessica, Mike and Louis, Hardman and Louis, Louis and Mike. Oh, that triangle between Harvey, Jessica, and Louis, Mike and Harvey, Harvey and Jessica, Harvey and Donna. You get the point. Not only that, but each season introduced a new threat or series of threats to the firm that the characters had to face while also working through personal issues and representing their clients. Will the characters of Suits LA face their own slew of conflicts between each other and as a firm? Absolutely. But it's not out of a lack of originality. Rather, it's a sign of good writing. Let's talk about writing for television. Film and television are art forms, yes, but they're also sciences. As with any math problem, behind just about every piece of cinema is a series of formulas. Tried and true, these formulas are the backdrop to thousands of successful shows, movies, characters, and plots. There's Joseph Campbell's monomyth, more commonly known as the hero's journey, along with dozens of deviations. A personal favorite of mine is Dan Harmon's story circle, which derives from his circle theory. It identifies 8 key factors of any successful television show that come together to create an arc. You, need, go, search, find, take, return, change. Let's compare 2 of Suits' best episodes, the pilot, which has since gone viral, and season 5, episode 10, Faith. Not only is it the show's highest rated episode, but it's a personal favorite of mine. Spoilers in case you haven't seen it yet. In the pilot, we meet our main characters, Harvey, Jessica, and Lewis, of the firm Pearson Hardman, and the unemployed Mike Ross. Having been promoted to senior partner, Jessica insists that Harvey must hire a personal associate. Mike, meanwhile, needs work to help pay his grandmother's medical bills, forcing him to take a drug-dealing job from his friend Trevor. When he learns the job is a setup, he enters Harvey's job search where he's hired despite his lack of experience. Harvey tasks Mike with a pro bono case where he must learn how to navigate legal technicalities and an array of personalities at the firm. Harvey gets his associate, and Mike gets the job he has always wanted. When Mike is put under immense stress and pressure to perform, he makes the decision to go all in, returning Trevor's briefcase and revealing Trevor's line of work to Jenny, putting a wedge in his greatest friendships. Mike arrives at his new normal of working as Harvey's associate when the two of them win the pro bono case together. Being a lawyer seems less foreign, and Mike and Harvey fall into a groove, as expressed by their banter.
Do you know what his name was?
Yeah,
Cordoza.
Clemenza.
I knew that.
In season 5, episode 10, Faith, which, by the way, is directed by Anton Cropper, who's currently working on Suits LA, Mike and Harvey must both face their challenging pasts as they confront life-altering decisions in the present day. Ready to discuss his mother with his therapist, Dr. Agard, Harvey recounts what it was to discover that his mother was unfaithful and how he eventually came to tell his father. Mike, meanwhile, decides to visit Father Walker, the priest who played an important role throughout his childhood and teen years. Harvey is able to open up more to Dr. Agard, and Mike tells his secret to Father Walker. As a result of their separate conversations, both Mike and Harvey make the individual decisions to resign from the firm. Both characters sacrifice their jobs and are confident in their decisions only for Mike to be arrested for fraud, throwing the firm into a new spiral of uncertainty. 2 completely different episodes, and yet both align with Harmon's story circle. Like storylines, characters stem from and are reflections of patterns and formulas as well, known as archetypes. Harvey is the hero, whereas Mike falls more into the category of the outlaw or the explorer. Lewis, on the other hand, is the jester. Don't get me wrong, character archetypes can easily become models for stereotypes or cliches, but I would argue this is not the case for the Suits verse. One of the things that makes Suits so successful is that archetypes are used as inspiration, a guide or a starting point for character creation, rather than as cookie cutters for exactly how a character should be.
You know, I had read the script because the origin of the script was kind of unusual too. It wasn't initially Suits LA.
Right.
And then the whole Suits phenomenon that summer and all this stuff that was going on, with all the similarities, is also all the differences. It's a little bit darker of a story. It takes place in LA, so there's the differences there.
Would you say the characters are archetypical inside the Suits universe, or would you say they're different and we're going to be surprised?
Well, it's funny because I was just talking to Anton after our first table where we have a character, this young girl who's like a junior attorney, and she is, I love this actress. And after the table, both Anton and I said, that could be like the Lewis Litt. Like there's something unique about her, that go-to energy.
Right.
You know, I don't like to do, you know, apples to apples.
No, never.
But
never.
you know, we're casting a nemesis right now, and I said to Aaron, "Is it Scotty?" He goes, "No, it's more like Travis Tanner. We
You
do
can use these names as reference points.
Yeah. And we're not
great.
mimicking it, but
Yeah.
we're just using it to get the weight of the characters.
Archetypes and plot guides have not been created for the sake of uniformity. Rather, they are strategies and tools for success that are meant to be altered and built upon. We're not putting together a Lego set here, people. We're building entire universes, which is exactly what Aaron Korsh has done. Suits LA is an extension of a pre-existing universe that uses the same world-building tools that in part made the original Suits so successful, along with countless other books, movies, TV shows, plays, and musicals. The character archetypes used to create the characters of Suits LA are necessary for its success as a legal show that maintains the Suits aesthetic of wealth, power, and high stakes. That brings us to the next ever-important factor that distinguishes Suits LA from its predecessor. We're headed to the West Coast. The Suits universe is establishing itself in two of America's most notable cities. First New York, and now Los Angeles. The 2,700 plus mile move from one coast to another gives Suits LA a brand new batch of opportunities and challenges that will make for unique storytelling. Most notably, the show is diving headfirst into entertainment law. Entertainment law is the discipline that deals with all things copyright, business negotiations, opportunities, and more within the entertainment industry. We're talking about a string of clients that includes actors, authors, musicians, athletes, record labels, production and publishing companies. You get the idea. Not only do we get a fresh commentary on the entertainment industry by the entertainment industry, but it allows for the franchise to revisit one of its strongest suits, no pun intended, guest stars.
Should we talk a little bit about the guest cast?
Yeah, I think that would be a
yes.
great time. That's enough about us. Let's talk about them. Are there some standouts, whether they be from the first, and this is not a standout, like we have so many great actors we could spend, forever talking about all of them, but are there any standouts either from the first season or from the show entirely where you're just like, kind of just magic happened? I mean, I'm thinking Harold right off the bat.
There's so many. I love all the Brits. That was so much fun.
Yeah, that was a great scene.
Suits LA is well aware of this, with early promotionals revealing the first slew of guest stars, which includes Victoria Justice, Patton Oswalt, Brian Baumgartner, Alex Povenick, Maggie Grace, Sophia Pernas, and of course Gabriel Macht, who is reviving his role of Harvey Specter in a 3-episode arc. Suits LA is further distinguishing itself through another new area of exploration: physical stunts. I'll be curious to see how that turns out. The big issue with the early criticisms of Suits LA is that claiming the characters to be knockoffs mistakes the show for being a reboot when it's actually a spin-off. The presence of archetypes in character building has been wrongly labeled as the creation of characters made to try and replace those in the original series, when what we're actually seeing is good writing at work. Suits LA offers an extension of what can now be considered the Suits universe.
In
The
fact,
Suits-averse,
come the
as it's
Suits
referred
averse.
to,
Wow.
which is not a great.
With a familiar set of names filling out much of the creative team, a new set of plots and unique opportunities for storytelling, and a brand new cast of unique and interesting characters, I'm excited to see what the series holds. Thank you so much for watching my very first video essay. If you want to hear more about Suits or happen to enjoy film and television in general, editing, writing, reading, theater, yo-yos, be sure to stick around. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like, and if you want to stick around for more, I invite you to subscribe. I would love to hear your thoughts on Suits LA in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time.